Boom, how's it going? How's it going? Welcome to the show. Yes, the TJ show. And where we are having another guest, a brother from another mother, this time round from the East London. And if you don't know where it is, this gentleman here is going to tell us where it is. But Edumisa, how's it going? Welcome.
Yeah, I'm doing very well, Mr. TJ. How are you?
Very well, thanks. And welcome to the TJ Money Show. On this show here, we actually talk about anything and everything around money, business, and life in general. But who is Edumisa? Where are you from? What do you do? Yeah.
Yes, perfect. My name is Edumisa Mtoli. I'm based in East London, in the Eastern Cape. I'm in software development, health tech. We're a startup. So I started working on this project in 2019 based on the problem that I saw. So we are focusing on developing a pharmacy management system for independent pharmacies in South Africa.
Good. So you've jumped on to talk about what you do as a business, but who are you as an individual before we jump onto the business? Because I do think that I'm a firm believer that people buy, yes, from the business itself, but people also want to understand who is behind that brand. So who is Edumisa? What's your background?
Okay. No. Well, I'll just give you a brief story of my upbringing, where I came from, and how I actually ended up doing what I'm doing at the moment.
Sure.
So my background, I started my first business when I was about 18 years old. I'm 30 years old this year. In fact, it's my birthday tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Well done, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I have about 12 years experience in business. So my first business was maths. I actually bought a franchise at the age of 18.
Right.
And I was based in Mthatha because I wanted to help kids in mathematics, because I myself was struggling with maths back in the day. So immediately after matric, I was like, look, I can help kids here. I raised money. I got a mentor, and then I went straight to Mthatha to actually assist kids.
From where?
The business
Where were you coming from?
I was coming from East London. Okay, so that's where I was born. Where I am now is where I actually grew up. So I went there. The business was quite successful. I was turning about R1 million a year. Sorry, yes, R1 million a year. And I was like 18, 19, 20.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like, I have all the money, I've clocked life, everything was good. But as you know, Mr. TJ, when the money comes and you don't actually are careful on how you spend it, how you plan for it, it resulted to me actually failing in that business. It actually closed down in 2016. So it was a very dark time in my life. I had to relocate back home in East London. But when I was there, I saw an opportunity where when I got sick there, I was like, I have to repeat myself to doctors. I have to repeat myself to the pharmacists there. No one really knows who I am here. When I saw that, it was in 2014, but I couldn't do anything about that because I had a business that was making money. So I was like, why should I actually bother doing that? But it was bugging me.
Is this the business that was in Mthatha, the one that was giving you money?
Yes, it was the business in Mthatha that was giving me money because, it was like, I'll get money next month, so it's fine. You don't need anything else. So, sure. that was it.
I want to speak to that business in Mthatha because I've done some work in Mthatha when I was employed.
Wow.
Yeah. When were you in Mthatha? 2014, you said?
Yeah, 2010 to 2016. So that's 6-year gap.
So 2010, 2012, I was working for the big bank, the Blue Bank, and they had a cash depot in town, just next door to the Major Street.
Is it in Leeds Street?
right? And I moved that cash depot from well, we can call it a branch,
Yes.
to where what was the name of the industrial site? So there's an industrial site where the cash
Vulindlela.
depot is. Yeah,
Yeah,
Vulindlela.
yeah.
So I
Yes.
moved that cash depot. That was my project back in the days.
Okay.
Looking after the construction side, looking after the processes of the people. And so my background is to understand process, system, people, and put all of that together.
Okay.
And that I was in love with Mthatha. The airport was this small, and there was no big aeroplanes coming in.
Yeah.
So how funny time actually passes through each other, and here it is, we're 10, 20 years later.
Yes.
Both of us were in the same town, but we never met. But I suppose we never met because you were making the big money and I was still employed.
In fact, if you say you were in Lead Street in Mthatha West, you were probably next door to my offices, because I was actually based there. Yes, so which is quite interesting. Yeah, but yeah, that's how the world is. So,
right. So you move now to
East London.
East London, and you fall sick, and from there now, this is funny because entrepreneurs, you're supposed to be getting better, and you're thinking about a business whilst you're sick, or you're seeing an opportunity whilst you're sick. Explain that again to me. So you're sick, and then what?
So I actually had tonsillectomy. So my tonsils were giving me problems, and I was between East London and Mthatha. Okay, so now I went to a doctor in Mthatha, and he said, "No, let's try treating them. And then I went to East London, and the doctor said, "No, we've been treating this for years. You've been my client. Let's just take them out." Okay, so we take them out, and I go back to Mthatha, and the doctor in Mthatha is like, "Oh wow, your tonsils are gone. Where are they?" Like, I took them out. That's when I was like, "Oh wow, this guy doesn't know. Shouldn't there be a way where I don't have to recite myself and re-explain myself?" That's where the original idea came from. That we need a way where doctors will be able to pull information when I give them consent. And then I have to have a way to control who has access and actually be portable with my information. That was the big idea. That was in 2014, but I didn't do anything about it. It was up until in 2017 where I filed my provisional patent after the business failed. So I got a job. I saved up some money, borrowed some money, and actually filed a provisional patent to actually say, okay, this is what I will do, and actually jotted down the entire idea. It was in 2019, though, that I started working on it.
So I wanna come in there. It's amazing how, I mean, had it not been for Eli who connected us, I would have never known you. But our lives are so parallel. And you're going to be shocked now with what I'm going to share with you. In 2016, I think, but anyway, somewhere there, I was working for a consulting firm. It might be actually it's before 2010. Yeah. I was working for a consulting firm, and with this consulting firm, they had gotten through a tender with the Department of Gauteng, and you can do some research on this one. And basically what the system that was being introduced by that time, and I think it was a Polish or a German company that had the systems. We went out, and that was a long time ago, but basically the system would be deployed at a hospital, be it a public hospital or a private hospital. And whatever information that is there would be visible to everybody. And at the back of that, what they also used to do is that the system would now obviously utilize that for billing purposes, planning purposes. There were many modules around that system. This is like back in, I think maybe 2008, 9, somewhere there. And the hospital that were in play was Sibukeng, Levine Bata. What was the other one? There are about 4 of them that I went through, and I worked for about 2 years in this project. And it speaks to exactly what you're talking about now. But, from a political perspective, this thing didn't go anywhere. But now, recently, I'm a client of Discovery. And recently, I had to go to the doctor. And exactly what you're talking about now, it looks like Discovery has it for their own clients.
Yes.
So if you're not right. And here we are today. Now we're talking about a business that you run that runs on this platform. But let me hear what is then your product. So there's the opportunity. You filed in a patent around it. What then did you do?
Okay. Well, that was 2017. I tried to find funding. I tried to find someone who can develop this thing so that we can go to investors.
Where did you go?
I went to the Eastern Cape Development Corporation, which funded part of the patent, the cost for the patent, because I went to them and said, look, I saved money and I did this. Can you help me to complete it? And then I went to the East London Industrial Development Zone, where they gave me a grant of a 6-figure grant. It was not a lot to actually get anything, but we managed to create a digital prescription, a prototype, because that grant was to actually create prototypes. So we actually launched the prototype after 18 months of fighting, because we were not sure the legalities around it, getting the first beta test users and all those things. That was 2019. However, what really shocked me and galvanized me in this project was when my late girlfriend passed away, mainly because of the same problem. Okay.
Oh.
So she had a condition like a kidney disease. So now
I'm sorry to hear for your loss, man.
Yes, it was really painful. That was last year, 2021. Now, in our attempt to try to save her, we were going to different hospitals. And all these different hospitals were actually hoarding her data, if I could put it that way. The pharmacy was not sharing, that clinic was not sharing, that hospital was not sharing. And the doctors were not really helping. In fact, the last hospital that she went to, she was told that she should expect anything and they're discharging her now. It was a very painful experience. And whenever I met up with her, she'd show me pieces of paper. They said, look, they gave me this paper and then I have to go there, like look at the condition that I'm in, but they are sending me from pillar to post. They don't have this information. They're not even communicating with each other. So that's why I was like, this is exactly what I'm working on. And it's so painful that now it's coming. It's really hitting home now. Unfortunately, she passed away, and 2021 was a very dark year for me. I was borderline depression. That's why I started going to therapy. But then I actually, during those therapy sessions, that's where I actually realized that, look, this is the gift. You have a gift that you can give to the world. And this is something that you could do in her memory. So I actually dusted myself off, came back, and I was like, I'm resuming this full force now. A lot has happened after that period, because I actually went out, I applied to different places. There was an initiative, the World Bank recently. I shared my story with them, and we actually made it to the top 14 out of 1,000 startups in Southern Africa. Now, Microsoft came in and they were like, look, we are putting you in our startup program. So I'm part of that program at the moment. So I'm learning a lot of things. In fact, during these sessions that I'm having with Microsoft, they actually sent me back to the healthcare sector and said, look, we need to work on strategy. I actually discovered that I'm very strong when it comes to strategizing, something that I was not even aware of. Strategy is one of my biggest strengths. And actually looking at problems and really connecting the dots, the unsaid things. So I went back to pharmacies. I spent about 3 weeks in a pharmacy, learning what's going on, learning about their problems. And I saw that, look, we need to pivot here. That digital prescription, it's actually getting resistance from the doctors. They are scared that we are trying to take over their work, or we're taking their clients. So there was some resistance on the digital prescription type of thing. So we're like, okay, now with the training from the World Bank and the training from Microsoft, we are in the middle of a pivot where we went back to these pharmacies, ideated, design thinking, actually looking at their problems and seeing how we can actually solve their problems. So yeah, we have a pharmacy management system now that we are developing. And we think that this one will really take, will disrupt the entire healthcare sector, because it's actually focusing on the biggest pain points which are affecting everyone involved, both the pharmacist and the consumer.
Wow. Look, man, I think I've met many entrepreneurs, and a lot of entrepreneurs are just out there and they're wanting to do business, but they're not solving a problem. And here you are, you've started off, and the first thing that I want to say to you is that thumbs up. You have gone to secure your IP, which a lot of people, again, they go out there and they start doing stuff and somebody steals from them. Not so long ago, I had an issue where someone asked me to help them with something, and I went on to help them. And a couple of months later, they were suing me for just below R1 million to say that I was stealing stuff from them. And I was like, you called me to help you and I came to help, and now I'm the bad guy here. And with such kind of things that come and go, in your perspective, what you have just done is you've protected yourself. And for all of you guys that are listening here, is whatever that you're doing, you need to protect it. And maybe let's jump into that, Edumisa. How do you actually protect your IP? Because I think that's foreign for a lot of people. And what made you to go and protect it?
Well, I think it was a strategic decision for me, because I knew that I would need a lot of money, one, and I knew that I would have to share what I want to do with a lot of people, investors, people who might be my potential clients, all those people. So strategically, I was like, okay, I first need to protect myself, then I can go out there and tell the world without being scared or whatnot. So that was the first thing. So I did a quick Google search. In fact, I was actually going through your website and I saw that you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, and you spent some time with him. So I didn't know what a patent was up until I read that book, and I read about his story, about his the running shoes that he actually created, and people actually copied them. So that's when I actually learned what a patent is, and I did a Google search on what's a patent, how to protect. So that book really changed my life, because it changed a lot of my perspective on a lot of things, on life and business and actually making an impact. So I did a quick Google search, and then I saw that I need to get an IP lawyer. Han and Han in Pretoria actually assisted me with this, because their number came up online. Called them, told them, look, man, I'd like to consult with you guys. And I'm like, okay, cool, come to Pretoria. Went to Pretoria, shared my story. They're like, yeah, this is something that you can protect. but we're not going to move up until you pay us. And then the money comes in. So that's when I had to go back and say, okay, save up per month, borrow some money, and actually file a provisional patent. It took 3 years because the patent was granted in 2020, whereas the provisional patent was actually filed in 2017. So it's a process. It's not a once-off thing. It takes some time, but I think it's worth it.
When you're saying it's a provisional patent, what do you mean by that? For anyone else who, like me, I've never filed a patent before, and then you talk, it sounds like there is multiple steps here and you get a provisional. What does it mean?
Okay, provisional, that's where you have 1 year. So you put in your patent, this is what I'm protecting. So you are actually saying, I have submitted it. And I'm not an expert, by the way, disclaimer, but I'm just sharing my experience of how I understood. Yes.
And by the way, that's what this show is all about, to share your experience, because the process could be there, but you follow the process and you had a different experience. And that's what this show is all about.
Yes. So basically, I actually, so you submit. So basically, you get I think it's a preference date or date of preference that you are the first person to actually file this. So that's where the provisional patent comes in. So you are given a year to actually make any changes. Okay. So maybe you want to add something, you want to remove something or whatnot. So it's that year. Okay. And then you're going to need to come back and complete it and resubmit again. That now I'm not going to make any changes now. I'm completing this patent. Okay. Then you submit again. And then they take their time, the patent office, and then they come back whether they are accepting the thing or rejecting it. So when they've accepted it, they grant you the patent that you are the legal owner, and then they send you all those documents. But I would suggest that most people think that they can do it themselves, but consult with a lawyer, because those guys add value. They have experience and they can advise on your wording so that you don't actually shoot yourself in the foot when you are protecting your IP. So that consultations with those guys, even though they are a bit expensive, I think it's worth it.
Okay, right, cool. Now, I really like that whole idea of now of protecting yourself and your business. So now that you've filed in this patent, you've got the provisional patent and so on, it's valid for a year. Does it mean that at the end of it, you are going to, at the end of the year, you're going to file for another one as well? And you need to pay for some more money as well?
Yes, you need to complete it, because if you don't go and complete the thing, it will lapse and you've wasted your money and your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where are you now in this project? You mentioned at the beginning of the call that you're a software developer. For some of you who don't know what a software developer, ladies and gentlemen, is, if you're working on a phone and you go onto Google, that's software. If you are online and you're doing some application, that's software. So this guy here that we're talking about here, he develops that. You know, he's the clever one in the room. I don't develop that. I develop houses and buildings like that. Is that correct, Edumisa?
Well, technically, I'm not the actual developer myself. I can't write a line of code to save my life. But I'm the problem solver. You can call me the problem solver. I've worked with many software developers. So you can call me the business intelligence brain, because I bring them the problems and I tell them, look, these are the problems that we need to solve here. Yes, I do have some background in software because I'm a cloud practitioner. Yeah, certified by Amazon Web Services. So I can actually translate some of the business requirements in tech form to actually mingle or to gel with the technical guys. So I do spend some time to do the basics so that I can actually convey my message effectively to them. But I don't actually do the actual building of the software. I have partners that are experienced in this field. So basically, that's me. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. So you've received a grant before. I've never received a grant in my life. What is the process of in getting the money? How long does it take for you to get a grant, and what is a grant?
Okay, a grant is where, well, the grant was given by the East London IDZ. So it's funding where you don't have to pay back. They don't take any equity from you. It's just money where they say, look, we're helping you out to actually see whether this thing, you can actually do it, but you have to prove yourself to get there. I was lucky because in 2017, I filed my patent. So grants, they usually work on matrix. So they have a criteria that you have to meet, okay? So they will say that we're going to give a grant for agriculture, or we're going to give a grant for building prototypes, or we're going to give a grant for something in the health tech sector. So I applied for something that's going to build prototypes in East London. Okay, so that was the criteria, and there'll be other things like BE, and then there'll be other things like technical, whether this thing is protected, which in my case it was protected. I had a provisional complete patent, so that's one of the pointers basically, which actually made me to stand a chance to actually get a call back. And then they called me back, and then they say, now pitch to us. Do you know the market? Where are you going with this project? So it's very important that you know the market and you know where you are and you know where you're going, because those are the questions that they ask you. So I actually applied in June, I think it was June 2020. And by November, and by November, they have approved the thing in 2020, and then the money was paid in December, the first tranche. So they don't just give you the whole money, boom, you are paid in tranches. The first tranche, you have milestones to meet. If you don't meet them, you're not going to get the second tranche. And if you don't meet the second tranche, you're not going to get the third one. So you need to make sure that you actually deliver what you said you will deliver. So that's my experience with the grant funding. So they're happy. The prototype was there, but it did give some bugs and started having problems. So we decided not to actually take it out to the world. But the funders of the grant funders are very happy with what we've managed to do. So now we are at a stage where we are pivoting now and building something real that will be used by pharmacists and their clients.
Wow, I'm really excited of your project, man. It sounds like it's something that will help all of us, especially for me. I've seen a taste of it. It's amazing. You joined the Microsoft now. That's where you are. What is it? Is it an incubator?
Yes, it's called Microsoft for Startups. It's some sort of it's some sort of an incubator. There are two. What could I call it? I could say streams, where they teach you developer skills and entrepreneurship skills. I'm focusing on the entrepreneurship skills. I am working with some developers that are experienced and are actually playing a role on the developer side. But obviously they are full-time employed, so they can't really focus on this project now because a lot of time is on their job. So funding is an issue a bit there to actually develop, but it's not something that you cannot work around. But Microsoft for Startups has been a game changer for me, because now they took me in, and their program is actually streamlined, and it has structure. Basically, they give you homework basically to go out there. The work that you get a single web page basically there, and it will have so much work. It will make your head spin for about 2 weeks. But that's the exciting part of it, because it's out there. They call it Genshi Gembutsu, which is Japanese. Go and see for yourself. Go
Right.
out there, interact with your clients. Come back. What trends do we see? What can you solve? So now I'm still at that stage and developing a business model, something that I did not have when we were developing the prototype. The World Bank helped me a lot there. We spent a lot of time with the people from Thinkubate, and now it's tying very nicely with what we are doing at Microsoft. So developing your business model, developing it and around the problems that your potential customers are actually facing, developing customer personas. These are things that I did not know. So mind-blowing, it's exciting. I'd say I'm 40% into the program at the moment. But yeah, as soon as I'm done, I think you will have something to play with, because there's a lot of value that's actually being added to the project by Microsoft.
So what is the future of your project? What I'm seeing here is that there's lots of work that you've done, and there's nothing that is tangible right now that me and you can exchange on, or our viewers can go out there and see and touch. But there's a lot of grinding that has happened in the background for you to get where you are now. And yet we haven't even seen something that's tangible. And this is something that I also want our viewers to appreciate, because we then start seeing someone with a vrpa, and then we're like, this guy is making money and things like that. But they don't understand. A lot of people don't understand the background grind and how long it's been, and the dark times that you're talking about. Twice you've had that. People don't see that. We all want to see the successes, or we want to have the successes, but very few people are willing to do the work. And for me today, that's why I said, let's have you on the show, because in a couple of months, I want to bring you back on the show when this product is out there. And people can actually see where this comes from, to say, hey, that guy, he started off 5-10 years ago, and now it's working. But when do you anticipate to have a ready-made product? That's my first question. And who is going to use it out there? So what does going to market look like? Can I use it? How will it work?
Okay. So I think the product will be out in about 6 to 8 months. You will have something to work with in 6 to 8 months. The target users would be
is that a tech timeline? Because I'm a real businessman. If the tech guy tells me 6 to 8 months, I already kind of like take 12 months.
Yes, techs actually have these problems, unseen delays and stuff like that. So when I'm saying 6 to 8 months, I think it's about there. Well, it's subject to a lot of things. One, funding. That's a big problem that I am currently facing. I applied here in the Eastern Cape. There are a lot of initiatives. They say, please apply, but they're not coming back, which is a big challenge for me, because now
let's say someone, Edumisa, is right now, they're keen, they're interested in your product today. You've got a challenge, which is funding. What I want you kind of like to step up and be like, this is what my product is all about. Promote your product so that we can all, and if we can invest in it, how best can we invest into it? Because for me, I think this is a cool thing. I've lived it before, and I don't know who's watching this, and there are other people that have some money here. They might just want to partner up with you. They might want to fund you. How much money are you looking for? And I'll give you about 1 minute to 2 minutes for you to give us that pitch.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity for the pitch. Basically, what we are developing is a pharmacy management system. The pharmacy management system is gonna have the ability to claim from medical aids, the ability to order from the depots or from the wholesalers, and the ability to have a loyalty program for the independent pharmacies. Why these three main things? Pharmacies are facing the problem of stockouts or expiring medication or products in their shops. This is due to the fact that they do not have the analytics of how much stock is moving, what is being sold, and what stays. Okay. Secondly, the problem of not being connected to another pharmacy. It might sound counterintuitive, but not being connected to another pharmacy means that it actually is risky for the end user, because some people are actually addicted to some substances that should be controlled. Okay. So the system will have the ability to track and say, no, this person actually did get this medication there. So you can't give that medication again. Okay. So pharmacists are also having the problem of not knowing how to order, as I've said. They also, the ordering process is cumbersome. They are actually based on paper. So they actually write it down or pick up the phone because the system is not connected to actually ordering directly from the wholesaler. So that's what we're actually developing. So we need about 10 million rand to actually develop this. 10 million rand. So that is the minimum that I say we need. We do
need this money. Do you need this money all in one shot, or you need it in trenches?
I love working in tranches because I think I've been trained to work in tranches. So I'm also willing. Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm also willing to give out equity for someone who actually could actually invest in this project.
Okay. How best can people get hold of you? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching right now, in the notes, or should I say in the description of the video, we will put Edumisa's contact details, and you're most welcome to reach to him directly. Engage with him on his project. I'm excited for your project, man. Good luck. And by the way, we spoke about Robert Kiyosaki. What's your thoughts around investing in property?
Yes, for sure. In fact, when I make my money and have a stable income, it's something that I'll definitely do. Because property is, you need to have some land. You know, almost it's all about the land. You need, it's one thing that people always need. I've played cash flow for, I don't know whether they've played the game cash flow. By Robert Kiyosaki, yes. So it's by playing that game, for example, I saw that this is something that can be done, and it just needs someone to have a stable, like, even if you don't have a stable income, but it's something that you can do. But I don't want to split my focus at the moment and go there. I need to go there when I've actually managed to do what I'm doing, and then I can actually do it properly. Yeah.
There's a book that I was reading not so long ago. It says The One Thing, and it talks exactly about what you're talking about, zoning in and focusing on a particular thing up until you expect any it, and then you jump on to other things. But
yes,
Edumiso, thanks a lot for coming onto our show, to your success, and well done so far on your journey, and keep on grinding. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. TJ. Cheers.
Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.